Start recording. And we're on. Alright.
Yep.
The Lost Children of America. Where are they going? That's the question.
Are you talking about the ones that are being stolen? Or are you talking about just the lost childhood of children, or the how
I thought we were talking about the missing children.
No, I have no idea about that.
Well, in America there is like a ridiculous amount of missing children every year, and nobody knows where they go or what's happening to them.
Right.
So it's kind of an interesting topic on, I don't know. There's like a lot of conspiracies around it. A lot of things like the Epstein Island, like it could be elites, putting them into trafficking rings, things like that. I don't know.
But that's all conjecture. I'm not into.
Yes.
I'm only into what I know. I don't. That's all. Yes, it's a concern. There's all kinds of rumors. I mean, we can get tantalized by the insanity of some of the rumors, but bottom line, I don't know any of that. There's always insane people in the world. There's always predators, and there's always money being made from organs,
right,
body parts. So I mean, yeah, that's a business, and people do it. And the biggest problem with our country is people are so naive about how bad people can be.
right.
That's the problem we're having in this country, and to trust the government is a dangerous, dangerous thing, because a government is filled with people, and people have different personalities. Some have major disorders, and a lot of them are narcissistic psychopaths.
Right. Well, I feel like in order to be a successful politician, you kind of got to be a little bit of a narcissist. Because, just the amount of scrutiny and the amount of pressure that's put on an individual as a politician, you kind of have to enjoy it to a certain extent. I feel like.
I
do it for a career.
I know that I would never want to be a politician, because they'll always find something in my past that they could use against me, because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody's a sinner. So, I don't know. But what I really wanted to talk about, I had somebody called me last night at 12:30 at night, because they were going through a puppy love thing where their heart was broken, and they're having a hard time recovering. And I think it's because a lot of these young boys, 16, 18 years old, they don't have a lot of guidance, and they don't have a lot of camaraderie, and they're isolated. And so when their heart gets broken for the first time, they don't have anyone to talk to tell them, listen, everybody has to get their heart broken. You can't even become a human being until your heart's broken. That's the facts of life. You have to feel pain to grow. You don't grow from your wins, you grow from your losses. It's the way life is.
To you, what defines a human being? To you, what would define a human being? What's a human being to you?
Someone that has compassion, consideration, empathy, someone that realizes the impact they make on others, so as to be more responsible of their actions, so as not to inflict pain.
So there's not that many humans to you?
What?
Seems like there's not too many humans to you, because it's kind of rare to find.
Well, it's rare now.
Yeah.
It wasn't when I grew up. When I grew up, there was a word called conscientious. The word has transformed into consciousness now. But before, the word conscientious was used everywhere. Gee, what a conscientious person he is.
And what does that mean?
Conscientious, it means considerate.
Considerate.
Considerate, understanding, respectful, stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think changed?
Well, I think a lot of things changed. The most important thing was the mothers leaving the houses, the economy getting so stressful and so difficult, fathers leaving the houses.
That's a huge issue.
A lot of things have happened. A lot of things, and it's been whittling away for years. Now children aren't even eating. I don't think they get a home-cooked meal once a week. I mean, the health of most children is very, very poor because all they're eating is fast food from just whatever fast food they're eating. And it's all filled with soybean oils and coconut, not coconut, but like palm oils and corn oils, linseed, whatever the oils are. And oils are very bad for digestion, they're not natural. We're just not eating the food as human beings, we were designed to eat. So it's causing a lot of problems. Then you got the plastics in the water, you got the pollution everywhere. That's getting into our system. We have plastic molecules now in our bodies because it just is happening from just the water we're drinking, from the fish we eat. It's just we're ingesting it because the plastics go in the ocean. The ocean hasn't beaten them up and pulverized them until they become very, very small. The fish eat them, then we eat the fish, and bingo, we get the plastic.
Do we yet understand how that affects us?
Well, some people say, some scientists claim it's making males more feminine. That it's causing us to have more estrogens, and we're losing our testosterone. We don't have the masculine energy we need.
How do you think it affects that? You think that that's due to plastic ingestion?
Some scientists believe that. I don't know. I only can go by what the scientists I've read about or listened to. But it's obviously can't be good. When I was a kid, I ingested a lot of lead paint. It makes a lot of sense now. Looking back, I have a terrible, terrible memory.
Yeah.
I have a very limited memory, and I played with mercury as a kid. My neighbor next door, his uncle was a dentist, and he had some mercury he gave us. We used to play with it. We used to take it and actually rub it in our fingers and onto dimes and make the dimes shiny.
Really?
So we were absorbing all that mercury into our brains. Yeah, that's
rough.
Yeah, that's rough as right. And
did they not? When did they understand it? Like, when did they start? Like, scientists figure out that was like.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long, the mercury, because they still use mercury amalgams in people's teeth.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
This day. To this day?
Pretty much. I mean, I think there's a lot more using the plastic stuff, the composite.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, because I remember taking my grandson a few years ago up the street here, and the doctor insisted that he had to use amalgam because it was too big of a hole, and the composite wouldn't be strong enough. Whether that was true or not, I don't know, but that's what he used. And when I got home, my daughter was very upset that I put mercury amalgam in my grandson's mouth. Anyhow. I've had all mine removed, and it costs a fortune to get it taken out. They have to use a special method.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta use a vacuum cleaner. They put charcoal under your tongue.
Is it like in the tooth? The mercury is like in the
cavity.
Tooth?
They use mercury and whatever other substance to make this. They call it. And you know what they call it? They don't call it mercury. They call it a silver amalgam. And it's far from any silver. It's mercury.
So they just say that to not freak people out?
Yeah, because mercury is very, very deadly.
Why would they put that in people's mouths?
Good question. Why?
Yeah, why?
Why would what's his name, Rumsford, go and work for the Searle Corporation so they could get the what's that stuff, the diet stuff, Cereal Corporation invented it. It's the biggest fake sugar in the.
Oh, you're talking about
It's a big word. I always.
It comes in the yellow packets. Is that what you're talking
Splenda,
about?
but
Splenda?
this is something else, and it basically, the Cereal Corporation could not get it passed by the FDA, so they hired Donald Rumsfeld, who was the Secretary of State with George Bush was in, and he had the connections to get it passed and made it legalized, and it actually causes brain something.
I think I might know what you're talking about. Is it that brand that has like the strawberry on it?
No, it's in everything. They're using tons of it now. They're even putting in, I think they even put it in real sugar. Like even if you buy a regular package of Juicy Fruit gum, which is sugar right one, I think they put it in there too. I can't think of the name of it. See, I don't use it anymore. It's been years since I've even gone near that stuff, so it's left the building in my brain.
Well, there's so many things that I'm sure that things that we commonly eat today that we will soon find out to be harmful. You know, I feel like one thing I find really interesting is, you know, within the past 2-3 decades, that's kind of like when speaking about like things like mental health have kind of become less stigmatized, and to think that back then people were drinking out of way back people were drinking out of lead pipes. Like my dad grew up drinking out of lead pipes, you know, probably lead paint, mercury, all those things that cause serious damage to people's brains and can potentially cause mental health issues. To think back then probably everyone was crazy, but nobody could talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You know how out of their minds they must have been? They probably thought that they were the only ones. You know what I mean?
All I can tell you, when I was a young boy, and I came after 18 years, so my father was 47 when I was born.
Yeah.
So when he was 57, I was 10 years old, his brothers used to come here, and they were in their 50s. And let me tell you, they acted like they were 25 years old. They had energy like you couldn't believe, and they had a personality big as a house, happy, whistling. Everybody it was amazing. They were just wonderful, wonderful human beings. Show me 57-year-old men now. Show me any men now that are happy. Not that happiness should be a goal, because with the culture the way it's designed right now, the chance of being happy all the time is slight to none, because we're too wrapped up now. We've lost social interaction. We've lost the simple amenities of life, which just sit on the outside and just have a nice conversation. We're so wrapped up with these machinery that we use it so excessively that it's isolating each one of us, and that's a big problem. Yes, chemicals are a problem, but years ago they had fresh water. There was no synthetic foods. There was no processed foods. You ate real food. Even the pasta was better because it had a lower amount of what's the word starts with a G?
Gluten.
Yeah, the gluten was at a lower level because the food wasn't genetically modified. Genetically modified anything? Come on, really? Are we genetically modified? How can we eat something genetically modified if we're not genetically modified?
They're starting to genetically modify.
No shit. It's scary. For me, I'm 72. And I just eat very limited. I eat just organic broccoli, organic spring mixes, and I eat steak and fats, and that's it. So and fish and sardines, you know. But these kids eating all those Cheerios and all that garbage.
You think Cheerios are bad for you?
Absolutely, it's all sugar.
It's just grain.
It's sugar.
Well, plain Cheerios have no sugar in them.
They all know. They digest the sugar.
Mm.
Anything that's grain, it processes back to sugar.
Well, it's because of starch, right?
Yeah, it has to go
Yeah.
back to a sugar, you know?
Well, I have a question. I don't really know too much about like gluten. What's so bad about gluten?
Gluten is a protein. It's a protein that has to be, I guess the body has a hard time digesting it and causes, it's supposedly from what I've heard, causes a lot of people to get Crohn's disease and leaky gut, which is actually the lining. The lining somehow gets destroyed, and the liquids inside the intestinal tract actually get absorbed into the body, go through the blood system or something. Instead of going through the proper system, it gets. Yeah, I don't know.
So why did they add gluten to the foods?
They did it because
Is that a new thing?
No, they did. They genetically modified and increased the gluten. I think they did it because they thought it would stop world hunger. It would have.
Really?
Yeah, because they made it a higher level of protein. I think that's what it was all about. I think gluten is protein.
It's really interesting. Why would it stop? Why would it prevent world hunger?
Well, because I don't know. I guess they can make more of it or something.
Is it completely synthetic, or are we able to create it?
No, they genetically modify it, and I forget. I remember I used to be so informed with stuff, but the genetically modified stuff was interesting. It was to genetically modify anything, they have to use a bacteria they put on the molecules so that they can put something else in it. And I thought that they said that they used the Ebola virus as the vehicle to get into the molecule.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. Look it up yourselves, figure it out.
That's interesting.
I'm not that smart. I only know certain things, and I'm just here to have a nice conversation with my friend John.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. What was I going to say? Oh, right. They're coming up with, I heard that they're coming up with this bacteria or something of the sort where it's capable of digesting plastic. It's like a synthesized bacteria, which is kind of strange to think about because, that could go pretty wrong. Man-made viruses, bacteria, parasites, that's all really creepy stuff to me. But
I heard they found some fungus that can digest plastics.
Right, like things like that could honestly, that could save the whole world,
Right.
Like if we were able, we just need to get rid of it somehow. And there's no real good way of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a future for humanity. I don't. I just don't. I don't. I'm sorry.
Like, how long do you think we have?
I don't know, man. But I don't think we have long. I mean, I'm watching this. It's out of control. It just seems out of control. I mean, they're buying houses in my neighborhood and knocking them down. And they're paying $600,000 to $1 million for a lot of land to put up a 4-family or a 5-family house. It's crazy. I mean, how much money does the individual? You kids, how can a regular kid comes into a regular middle class family that pays rent? Where are you going? You're not going to. They're gone. They're buried. It's history. I don't know what's going to happen.
I kind of feel like my generations are like sort of the last chance we got, and that kind of puts a lot of pressure on me because it's like I feel like I should do something, but what can I do? What can I do to save the world? Like I'm just one person.
I don't think it's about saving the world, John.
I feel like if we repeat the same mistakes as the generations before us when it comes to, how selfish we are when it comes to everything, literally everything, I think we're screwed. if we don't learn, which we probably won't, we never do, then I think that I just have a feeling we're the last hope. Like, we're the last chance we got. If it don't work, we're kind of screwed. Like, it's kind of inevitable if we don't do something about it. I feel like. I feel like we're gonna fall into the same trap.
What trap? Materialistic trap?
Yeah, of course. Like, the trap of just being... Okay, once our generation, my generation, is like, we're all like, oh, we want to save the world, like, we want to do all these good things, but once we get a taste of power, it's all out the window.
Right.
We'll fall into the same thing as all those other people. We're no better than them. We're no different. We never learn. And like you said, in another talk we had was, like, you remember the four corners? Like, where it was like wealth, I think it was wealth, health, power, and God. Yeah, I mean, power is kind of the second thing to God, almost.
Well, people don't believe in God.
Right, so power is their God.
Right. That's true.
We're gonna fall into the same trap.
Yeah, but here's how I look at it. It's not about there's two journeys in life. There's the outgoing journey and the inward journey. The outward journey will give you stuff. The inward journey will give you inner peace. Which do you want? You can go a little of that, but I'd rather have a lot of inner peace. I'd rather have a lot of laughing in my life, and a lot of sense of humor, and a lot of lightness.
Right.
So it's the journey within that's most important. It's a tricky thing being on this planet. It's a real tricky thing. Because we come here and you watch your television and you listen to all the bullshit on TV. And it's telling you in order to be happy you need a Mercedes, you need a BMW, you need a house here, you need $1 million house there, you need this, you need that, you need this girlfriend. She needs a diamond ring, she needs this, we need that, we gotta have all kinds of cable, and on and on and on. Yet, you go to India, they're happy to have a bowl of soup.
Right.
Give them a bowl of soup every day and they will smile forever.
They don't need much.
Well,
we need too much. We think that we will be able to fulfill our needs with material, but I feel like over there they understand that it's not about that. That kind of started in the 80s, where it was like a consumerist movement, where it was like, I don't know. I mean, the American dream was kind of always built on the idea of materialism, and, you know, the more you have, the happier you will be, when that's just not the case. I think that we have some of the most miserable people on the planet here, despite having the most.
That's true. Well, that's the truth. Because you cannot get filled with materialism. I know that, and I design my life in a way to serve as much as I can and get less. Don't get me wrong, if I can get more, I will, but I usually get it to use it for a cushion for when I need to help somebody. That's all it's for, if I can help somebody, I'll do it. But I do need a certain amount of financial, I need a certain amount of money coming in every month so I can survive at a modest level. I don't have a brand new car. My car's 7 years old, 8 years old, and I'm fine with that until it breaks down. Then I'll probably get another car, but I keep my cars 8 to 10 years. It's no big deal.
Some people can't live like that.
I know.
They've been almost brainwashed to that extent, where they just need more.
This for my account, it's got burn marks on and everything. This was put here 60 years ago. This would have been changed 5 times in a typical American house. I'm exaggerating, at least twice.
I know what you're saying.
This would have been changed, and then finally they would have put the granite in now, and everything would have been changed, all new tape counters. Silly. It works. It works, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, like, is there a one true key to happiness? If it's not material, and it's kind of bizarre how it works, how some of the poorest people happen to be some of the people with the least amount of any material end up being some of the happiest people. Do you think it's even possible here? Do you think it's possible to truly be happy? And I know that you briefly said that, like, you don't really think that people can be happy all the time in this society, but what would you, let me reframe my question. What would you change about America or just our society?
First of all, forget America's history. It's not going to change. It's not going to get. You can't stay here and be happy.
Why do you think that is, though?
Because there's no community that's full of love and compassion and empathy and caring. You have to go to a community like that, like the community in India. They got like 9 million followers all over the world. This Sadhguru, you can watch him on YouTube. He's tremendous. He's fabulous. I love him to death. He's great. And of course people doubt him. Because you know what's so funny about the skeptical mind? It's really interesting. Do you know why people have a skeptical mind?
It's because we don't trust people.
Think like that. You have a skeptical mind so as not to receive love.
I feel like it would be a bit naive not to be skeptical at times.
I understand. But it's preventing love. It's preventing joy. It's preventing so much. It's like people are not willing to stop. They got that wall up of skepticism. They got that wall up of skepticism. And that wall of skepticism prevents joy, happiness. Surrender for a minute. Let it down. Let it go. Be here now. Be in the moment. You can always put it back. Because I'm sure once the conversation's over, the skeptical mind says, hey, wait a minute, I want to be there. Bring me back in. Because that's all it is. It's are you willing to surrender? That's why people want power and not God. Because they don't understand what God is. God is magical. God is awesome. God is where nothing exists, yet everything does. It's something you can't even define it.
It's unfathomable.
Yeah, you can't even define it. And I look at this like this. Why do you want to invest time not believing in God? Because we can't prove that there is a God, and we can't prove there isn't one. Well, you know what? I'd rather live in the illusion that there is a God. Even if when I die, it's over and I'm fully delusional, so what? While I'm here, guess what? I say every night, thank you, God, for everything you've given me. God, thank you for me. I feel so good with my arms around myself and with you here. It makes me go to bed at night like a baby. Why would I want to go and do anything else? I don't get it.
I feel like it's somewhat more. Take what I say with a grain of salt, but I feel like it's almost a bit more logical to believe in God just due to the chances that this all just happened to happen. First of all, think about the chances of you being born in the first place. It had to happen at the exact right time, and you were that one cell out of, hundreds of millions to make it there. Second of all, the chances of the Big Bang happening all by coincidence, like, it would have to be the perfect storm in order to create the universe out of nothing. It would be like, we're looking at like chances that are like 1 in a quintillion. And then saying that there is a God is kind of a 50-50 chance. If you if you're looking at like statistics, it's almost impossible that this is all a coincidence. You have a higher chance of winning the lottery and a higher chance of, essentially anything else. If you say that they're, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it.
Well,
I don't see it.
I've personally had some profound experiences with things, entities, and yeah. I don't know if it was because I was detoxing from, and I was just drinking wheatgrass juice.
Were you hallucinating?
I don't know.
What was it like?
Wow, I told you the story about the time I was in Florida at the Hippocrates Health Institute, and I was drinking a lot of wheatgrass. The last couple of days there, I happened to be sleeping, and I got woken up, and I looked to my right, and there was like a laser point, green laser point on the wall, and then it was there only for a few seconds. It went out, and then I looked to my left, and at the wall right here where the nightstand was, this little white, like it was like a white, off-white light, but in the middle was the most beautiful. In fact, it was the color of these things here, the blue inside of these, but it was blue with white crystals in the middle, and it was about that big. And it was like a little city, you know, like you watch some movies in the sci-fi cities, and the whole thing kept going like this, all the way out and all the way back, all the way. In fact, it looked so beautiful. I actually sat up and I asked it if it wanted to say something, if it wanted to communicate. I didn't know what was going on, and then it was gone.
When you sat up, you still saw it?
Right. And
That's very bizarre because I feel like, do you know what sleep paralysis is?
No.
Well, with sleep paralysis, it's a thing where some people, like when they're in bed, their body falls asleep, but their mind is still awake. So it's like you wake up, you can't move your body, and usually it causes hallucinations because your mind starts filling in things. But the fact that you sat up and that you still saw it shows that you didn't have sleep paralysis because you're not able to move your body. And usually by the time that you are, the apparition or whatever it is goes away.
Funny you should say, because one time I was in this room and I was sleeping and I couldn't move my body like you just said, and there was a green light right here, like a green emerald light.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move, and it was stuck, and I knew that I thought that there was people or something in the room with me, but I couldn't move. Now that could have been just
that was like sleep paralysis. Yeah. That happens to a lot of people. It's usually it can happen randomly, but it usually happens from like sleep deprivation if you're like not sleeping too much. Yeah, but
I don't know. And I've seen other things too. And I'm awake, especially from this room. This room here.
This room in particular.
This room over here.
This room.
Yeah. I used to have the bed so I could look down the hallway. I can't tell you how many nights I'd be woken up, look into there, and I would see things like animals. Oh yeah, I'd see animals. Oh yeah, once I saw like a leopard going up the wall. But the funny thing about the leopard, it had like white lights on it. You know, like it was like almost like a neon light. Now I'm going like this. Come on. Right? And then one time, right in this room, the gorilla, there was a gorilla sitting right there. I'm telling you, you think it's great. I know.
I believe you.
No,
it just sounds funny.
I know, it makes me think I'm crazy too, and I'm going to tell you right now, I think a lot of people see things, but they're afraid to expose themselves because they're afraid of being said that they're crazy. You know what? It is what it is, and I know that. Look, I'm different. I know that. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to even be alive. I had a tough entry onto this planet. My first 5 years and more were horrendous in many levels. Not to have to go into it because we don't have to, but the bottom line was, I'm a lucky young man, an old man to be here. And come a long way. I'm grateful for just being alive and living, you know.
You got a hell of a life story.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You ever write about it?
No.
Do you like writing?
I gotta wait till some people are dead first.
What are you waiting for?
Because I don't want to, I get what I'm talking about, but I want to wait till they're dead because
You just don't want.
I don't want them to be embarrassed.
Right.
You know what? I don't even want to tell anyhow because all I can tell you, it was pretty bad. I'll leave it like this. I came after 18 years. My mother and father already had a 22-year-old boy, a man, and an 18-year-old young man when I was born. And they were already into making money and trying to not make money. They were struggling to make money and they were trying to make a living. And all of a sudden, I get born and it was not wanted. So when you're not a wanted child, that's a heavy sin. I would have been better off adopted or put in an orphanage. I would have had a better chance than I had here. But that being said, I am here, and I'm doing okay. You know?
Do you think everything happens for a reason?
Yeah, I do. I probably believe. Sometimes I think about it, I go like, wow, maybe it was necessary. Maybe it was maybe my spirit was so powerful when I came out, when I was born, that the demons on this planet had to do this to me, to push me down, and almost like what they do with coal, squeeze it and burn it and get it hot and pressure for it to make it to a diamond.
Mm.
And I think that's what actually happened. I think that through it all, because it's a miracle I'm here. There's no way I should be here. I should have killed myself when I was in my 30s. And I didn't. And I read one book, and it exploded within me and turned me into an enlightened being that was totally unconscious. Because you're born onto the planet and you're just a glorified tape recorder, and then you become some kind of a unconscious competent because you copy your mother and father and brothers and stuff and family members to sort of go through life unconscious, but making a living, eating, shitting, and all that stuff. Then, because of the way I was brought up, I became an unconscious incompetent. Because I had not enough, I had so much trauma in me and so much dysfunction that I slowly allowed myself to become mentally ill to a certain extent. And when I say mentally ill, what happened was I didn't have enough of me so that I could defend myself from all the other people who were trying to tell me how to live my life. And I slowly lost myself. And I remember looking in the mirror one time and I said, oh my God, who are you? Now this is going to be something you're not going to believe either. I looked in the mirror and my eyes were brown.
Really?
Yeah, my eyes are hazel. Yeah. I was born with hazel eyes. Now, I'm ready to kill myself. I go home one night.
Was it around that time?
Yeah. I remember like it was yesterday. And I was ready to blow my brains out. I had the gun and all. And then I went home that night, fell asleep in my room, woke up, major anxiety attack. Looked to my left, and there was a red book there called Living, Loving, and Learning by Leo Biscaglia. I started reading the book. At the beginning of the book, the woman committed suicide. She jumped off a cliff. I went, holy shit. I kept reading, and I'm really not an avid reader. And all of a sudden, the book started to really make me aware that, oh my God, this book is talking about me, how I've seen myself my whole life. And basically what happened halfway through the book, I became like, I had an explosion of joy and happiness and peace. And I had tears of joy coming out of my eyes. And that was the beginning of my traveling into consciousness. But at that time, I was still incompetent, but now I was conscious. And it's been 35 years of becoming a conscious competent. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am still very unconscious, and I know it. I really know it.
Really?
Yeah. So this morning I was all by myself in a breakout reservation in the forest. I'm walking and I'm saying, my God, I can actually feel that I'm not present with this beautiful nature. I could feel that I was almost like I was like it was artificial. That I was just, you know what I mean? Like I really didn't feel like I was one with the forest.
If I'm gonna be real with you, I kind of feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by being unconscious? Because when you, alright, like the other day you were telling me, like, I gotta wake up eventually. Alright, so like, I kind of feel like that there's like an invisible veil over everything. Like, nothing really feels real to me. And that kind of sounds crazy saying that, but is it kind of like, I struggle to be fully present, to be fully now, because like I've gotten glimpses into that where I've kind of like been sitting there like looking at like my hands or something and just being like, holy shit, like I'm actually here right now, like right this second, like, I am alive and I am here, and then I kind of like boom, snap out of it, right, and just go back into my average autopilot. But it's kind of fucking scary when I do that, because it's almost like I realize I'm alive. You know? Is that what you live like? Is that what being in the present's like?
Being in the moment, you won't want to jump out of a plane. You won't have to jump out of a plane, jump on bungee cords. You don't need all that stuff. When you're really alive, you wouldn't do that. I was going to do all those things before. I was going to go into the ring with a professional fighter, just to go through it. He convinced me out. He said to me, Renny, I'll kill you. I can't, because I have to be.
Why were you going to do that?
Because I wanted to feel alive.
Did you ever do boxing?
No. I was going to, no, I know. I was just going to go in, just not in a professional fight. I was just going to, he was going to come in, go in the ring and spar like a sales place, right? I was going to go in there and just, but he can't stop himself. He can get hurt if he doesn't be who he is.
Yeah.
You got to, so he said, I can't do this for you. This guy was a real nice guy, because he could have been a sick person, and I would have died. But I've been blessed, since I've been traveling on this road of consciousness and just trusting in God and the process. I've been in very dangerous moments, in very, very scary places. I don't know why I come out of them all the time. I've been very, very blessed. It's like God is protecting me. It's almost like I don't deserve it either. That's what cracks me up. Who am I? I'm nobody. I'm a nothing. You know what I mean? I'm a nothing. I'm like I'm a grain of sand. I don't even have I never went to. I went to a little college for one class I took, and that's it. Went to the Marine Corps because I was afraid of college.
Do you believe that this one life is the only life that you have?
Don't know. But I've been involved with Kabbalah, and the rabbi told me in my previous life I was betrayed because I'm a Scorpio. I listened to so many gurus, and they all talk about past lives and future lives. Sadhu Ram, a picture I have of him, is a living master, and supposedly if I was initiated to him, which I can't be because I'm not a vegetarian, and other reasons, but he supposedly in his thing, when you die, his entity will come to you and bring you to up the levels of consciousness, so you get closer to the source.
So he's like the Grim Reaper, almost.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm just messing around. But,
I know. Yeah.
Do you? I have another question. Do you believe in the Do you know what the multiverse is? Where there's like multiple different timelines happening simultaneously.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
Where
that's
it's almost
possible.
like every decision that you make, it splits into another.
I heard about that.
Well, if that's true, you know, there's this theory, it's either called like quantum immortality or quantum suicide, and I heard how you were questioning like how the hell am I alive today, right? The thing is in a lot of other timelines, you probably are dead, you know, a lot, like it was probably worst case scenario. The theory goes that essentially, if there's infinite timelines, parallel timelines, every time you die in a specific timeline, you just hop over to the one that you're alive in. Your consciousness almost switches to that timeline where it worked out well, right? You didn't die. So if that theory is true, we're all technically immortal, if you really think about it. Anything you do, you'll make it out because you'll just jump over to another timeline. One of you will be dead, but not you. You get what I'm saying? It's really wacky to think about. It's really bizarre. But that could be the reason why you're alive.
Well, but you think the other ones are conscious, or they're all unconscious, or they're just going through?
Well, they're all. I'd say that they're all conscious. Well, there's probably timeline versions of you where you never had any trouble. You could have had a completely normal life and never woke up and just you were competent but not conscious.
I'm just wondering if I'm wondering if I would want to have had a normal life.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too.
Because you know what, my abnormal life has been fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get lonely at times. I get all the emotions everybody else gets. But there's a lot of awe in my religion, and I just find it's
probably would have been boring.
Huh?
Probably would have been kind of boring. You know, although it probably wasn't fun, you know, going through a lot of that shit. It's probably more interesting than working a 9 to 5 and, you know, just doing the same thing.
I don't know, but yeah.
But I mean, it seemed to end up working out, you know, like you are a lot further along on your spiritual path than the majority.
I'm spending a lot of more time alone, but I do watch a lot of movies. But I also am staying away from people who have a lot of unrest in them. It's not worth it being around people that have a lot of unrest, because it just collects inside of you or in me.
Yeah.
And I don't need that anymore. Yeah. So, how long have we been doing this?
48 minutes. Yeah. I just want to make sure my computer's still working. Just gonna make sure we're all good. That's all good. My computer's heating up a little bit. Gotta let it breathe. Yeah. I mean, did you ever expect to be where you are now? Did you ever expect to end up here? I don't know, did you ever expect to be like...
It's good enough, John.
I just want to make sure it's not good. Okay. Did you ever expect to, Alright, if you told yourself at the age of like 20 that if you just told yourself your whole life right now what it's like currently, not like your whole life story, but just what your life's like currently, would you believe it?
I've lived it and I don't believe it. My friends, they've watched it and they don't believe it. People who've known me since I was a kid, I'm not the man I was. I'm more awake, more alive, I'm more of a, I don't know, and it's interesting. I gotta stay unattached to my goals too, because my goal is to be extremely young looking and healthy at 100.
It's a good goal.
but for only one reason.
Why?
People will pay attention. See, right now, 72. I look a little younger than 72.
You do look good for your age.
But wait till I'm 100 and I'm looking good. Then people say, Jesus, maybe we should listen to this man. Maybe he has something going for him that could help society. Because I'm going to tell you right now, eating any boxed foods and processed foods is not beneficial to your health, mentally or physically, or spiritually. You know, my biggest weakness, though, I do have one: ice cream, but not every day. I eat it about once every 2 to 3 weeks. You know, I indulge in it, but I always eat it early, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I have all day to burn the sugars off.
Well, when was the last time you had like fast food? When was the
Years.
last time you had a burger from McDonald's?
Years.
Do you ever miss it?
God, no.
No? Not at all?
Oh,
A little bit.
No.
It's still delicious.
Why would I just go? I cook a real hamburger.
You can't lie. It's pretty delicious.
They suck.
They're kind of good.
No, they're not.
They taste good.
No, your addiction is because your body's full of chemicals. Once you detox your body.
I guess so. I mean, I think it's more just being conscious of it. I think just like thinking about what you're eating kind of turns you off to it a bit. You know what I mean? If you don't think about it, McDonald's tastes fucking delicious. If you don't think about what you're eating.
You never saw the video, the YouTube video of a kid. He went to McDonald's, and it was just before spring. So he went there and he got 2 cheeseburgers.
Okay.
Put one in his black leather jacket, and he ate the other one, and he forgot about the second one.
Oh, no.
So he put it in the closet. The whole year went by.
And it was still good.
He went to put on his jacket. He went, "What the fuck is this?" Oh my God! He opened it up. It looked just like he bought it. He said, "Are you shitting me?"
That's a bit weird.
So he took it and he took it down the cellar and he dated it. And then he went and got another cheeseburger and dated that one. He had like 10 years of cheeseburgers, and the decay was so minuscule. On 10 years later, the French fries will look the same way for years.
They'll look the same way.
They'll look the same.
Really?
Yeah. They're supposed to decay.
It's
they're supposed
so
to get
weird.
green.
I know. Yeah, they're supposed to go bad. It's potatoes. Potato.
So think
That's
about
so strange.
how can your body digest that correctly? How can that be used for nutritional benefit? It's impossible. Do you know that today most children by 9 years old, 10 years old have heart disease started already?
What? Are you serious?
I'm serious. 10-year-old children have heart disease. Probably almost all of them in this country. Because
You think I have heart disease?
I don't know how bad you ate when you were younger.
Well, when I was young, I did pretty well. But I mean, it's like
Because it's the
like
insulin.
most
See, it's the insulin, all the high glycemic foods and all the junk. Yeah, it's causing serious problems.
Oh, usually with heart problems, you don't develop that until you're like middle age. Usually, right? Doesn't that take years?
It's supposed to, but it's not anymore. I got a little heart. It'll be interesting when I go back. I'm going in September to get another CAT scan because I have some heart stuff going on and aorta stuff. And now with this carnivore diet and this keto diet and the intermittent fasting, it's going to be interesting to see if it improved or got worse. If it got worse, then I may consider getting off the meat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think meat's supposed to be great for your heart.
If I'll have to get off the meat, and I'll have to lean towards sardines and salmon.
Have you ever tried going vegan or vegetarian?
Oh, I used to be all that, but I used to be 230
Did you
pounds.
not like it?
No, I was always hungry.
And it didn't fill you up? I thought it would have proper nutrition though, right?
Always hungry. Can't eat enough.
Maybe with vegan, but what about vegetarian?
I can't eat enough. Body's always hungry.
What's the one that eat fish? Pescatarian or something?
So, yeah.
Have you ever tried that?
No, you gotta eat a lot of fat. You need fat. The fat's necessary.
You say that. I find that really interesting.
Well, it's not me. It's the people I'm listening to on YouTube. You know, there are a lot of crazy people on YouTube right here. You know, and you know what I mean. So I mean, I don't know who's full of shit and who isn't. All I know is that they all seem to be doctors and scientists that are telling us that low carb, high fat, moderate protein is the best way to eat. That's how it used to be until this
Right.
Dr. Ansel Keys, he lied. He lied completely, and he made phony charts about certain diets, and he removed all the ones that didn't help prove his theory.
Well, if you think about it, ancient humans, like back 40,000 years ago, essentially our main diet was, meats, fats, things along the lines of what you're currently eating.
Right.
And that was actually back when we were like nomad hunter-gatherers, and that was actually kind of when humans were at their peak physical fitness, and that's when we were tallest. That's when, and also when we were most athletic.
I would love to see someone create a grub farm. In other words, just make these. I watched a documentary on these, I guess you want to call them indigenous people in an island. I think South Pacific. And they used to go in the rotten bark and get these big, they look like marshmallows. They were like grubs, and they would eat the grubs raw, cold, cooked, uncooked. And that's probably the purest form of eating because they're easily accessible. An animal's more difficult to get to, but the grubs are there, and they eat those. And every one of them.
It's like
Well, I go like that. He was eating them and showing like this, and they were squeezing them. It looked like marshmallow in his mouth. It looked like white stuff all over. But
what exactly is it called?
They're insects. They're grubs.
Oh, insects.
Yeah, they're insects.
Oh, that's a lot of protein.
Yeah, but
I know that. Yeah.
But these were so chubby, and they might have been fatty and all that. But
it's kind of gross though.
Well, because we're not used to it.
Yeah,
If you give it to a baby who doesn't know any better, he'll eat in a minute. He'll eat in a minute. Or he might not. I don't know. You have to try it out. You don't know until they try it.
Yeah, I guess kind of the culture grew up and kind of shaped my opinion.
I know.
About eating bugs.
I know.
Yeah.
Playing in the mud. So it's supposed to be really good for your immune system. Nobody does it. Walking in the grass barefooted. Very powerful. Earthing, they call it. I think it's called earthing. In fact, I met a man. This is amazing. This man's he had cancer through his body. He had very little time left to live. Make a long story short, somebody said something to him and motivated him to try and stay alive. He took all the stuff out of his body and he started earthing and drinking wheatgrass juice, and all his cancer went away. And he was completely riddled with it. Had less than 2 weeks to live.
Interesting.
I met him personally at the in Wigmore Natural Health Institute in Puerto Rico.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Which I recommend highly. Very interesting.
He was like dying completely.
Yeah, he had 2 weeks left.
Completely rid
of
cancer? Wow.
Yeah. His daughter, I think it was his daughter, said to him, "Daddy, please don't die." And something triggered in his mind. And all of a sudden he just exploded. He bought a special bed, earthing bed, that you take the copper wire and you put it outside and you nail the copper spikes into the ground so you get the earth's energy, the polarity, whatever the hell it is, and you sleep on this bed. I don't know.
That sounds interesting.
Well, there's different things, I mean, what do you...
It's possible.
I don't know. I mean,
that's definitely possible.
I mean,
Wow, I mean, if you have 2 weeks to live, was he bedridden? Like,
I don't know.
how do you even get up?
I don't. And this kid, I can't tell you. That's all I can tell you about him because I don't want him to know.
Right.
But he had a profound childhood. I thought mine was bad. Forget it. But that being said, there's molecules in the air, right?
Right.
There's dust in the air. There's everything in the air. We're ingesting that all day long. Who knows what's in there?
A lot of pollutants.
Who knows what's in there? I don't know this whole. Sometimes you wonder if there's really even air here.
If oxygen exists.
Yeah, if it's, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, honestly, like, prove it.
I know.
Prove it. What are you gonna show me? Like, you're gonna show me like an oxygen molecule? Okay. What does that say?
I know, it's crazy, man. I know it's a time when everybody's we're doubting everything right now. Everybody's like who don't believe in the vaccine.
I think we're all going crazy.
You think
We're all
so?
going fucking nuts. And we're all just kind of accepting it. And now that we have platforms to put it on, we're just realizing it. I think that's what it is.
I don't know. I think that you have to hold on to core things. You can't drop everything so quickly. I mean, I know that people call me macho because I'm a stereotype man, but I don't. I'm willing to work with anybody, and I have a high respect for females. I
wouldn't say you're like a stereotype.
I just can't help myself. My nature is to protect. How can I not protect a woman? You know, I like they say,
right.
It's none of your business if you see a woman out there. Some woman's out there screaming and yelling, some guy's after, I'm gonna knock him the fuck out. At least try. I can't let him hurt a woman, even if there's something she did terrible. I can't. It's my nature. I can't stop myself. I just can't. I'll probably get killed someday because I'll be doing that and the guy just shoot me. So you mind your own business. Well, it is my business. That's the way I was brought up.
Yeah.
You know.
I was just doing the right thing.
And that don't mean I won't tell a woman, give her feedback and tell her the truth. Or my opinion, just like I'll give to a man, because it's the way it is. If you're out of line, you're out of line.
Right. Right.
And a lot of times people don't like it when you do that, but you know what? They think about it later.
Women think about it a lot more than men do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll act like they don't care, but that will haunt them. It'll haunt them way more. You know, if dealing with women, the best thing to do is to talk to them, because it'll ring through their head way more than any. Dude, you see that type of thing where when people get frustrated with women, like sometimes they try to use their physical dominance over them, which is awful. Obviously, it doesn't even do anything. All it does is make you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
It's not solving. It makes you look dumb. It makes you look like a complete asshole, and it makes you look like you have no manners whatsoever. And you'll probably get your ass kicked for it also. So it's not the way to go about it whatsoever. It's a never a win. You're never gonna win in a situation by threatening a woman or anything like that. It's never gonna go well, ever. But yeah, women listen a lot more than we think, I feel like.
And for any young men that are listening to me right now, I really highly recommend Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, I've listened to him, he's fantastic. It's so insightful. There's another one too that I can't think of his name. It's the Guru. He's got a lot of Seth Guru, I think he is. SADH Guru. He's funny. Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor.
I never heard of him.
Yeah, he's kind of cool. But I think we should wind this up soon.
Okay, yeah, we'll wrap this up. But one more thing. Do you think that the division in the country is a tactic Alright, so first of all, you know that the Cold War never ended, right?
No, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's an information war. We're still going at it, like, and we're losing, big time. But do you think that this division is a plant from other countries to divide us before they move in and conquer?
Well, there's no question that Russia had sleeper cells here for years.
Still do.
Right, they've been here for years. And they may have somehow got into the school system. And they definitely dumbed down the children, big time.
Renny, you should see the things that they teach me. It's literal propaganda. Literal propaganda. I'm being fed propaganda every single year. Every year. Same things. It's being drilled into my head, but at least I recognize it. It's kind of scary. Yeah, it's weird. For the past 30 years that's been going on.
There was an old lady that was involved with the school system. I don't know her name. I remember she got thrown out. I'm not sure which president, so I won't say it correctly. I know the one I think it was, but I can't be sure. But she got thrown out because she was the last holdout of common sense. She had sound common sense, and she wanted to teach proper English. She wanted to keep cursive writing. She wanted to keep it the way it was. All of a sudden, they've changed everything slowly. And the stuff that they're teaching children is brutal. I mean, teaching masturbation, I heard. Whether it's true or not, I don't
Teaching
know.
it?
I heard something about that. Well, they like a lot. It's something about self-pleasure. It's okay, you know. All this, you know. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff in here that's going crazy.
It seems like it's just trying to spite, like, the other side. Don't you think? Like the more traditionalist people. It seems kind of spiteful. You know? I don't know.
I don't know. All I can tell you is I don't like what I see with the kids. The kids can't even open up a can. They don't know how to use a can opener.
I think cursive writing is kind of stupid, though.
Yeah, I love it.
A little bit. I mean,
It's pretty.
okay, well, it is nice, but, like, do we really need to know it other than, like, how to sign our names? It's kind of all you really need cursive for nowadays.
It's faster than writing the other way. Printing is so long.
I suppose.
My God, cursive, I can fly in cursive.
Yeah. My handwriting's kind of like a mix. Or maybe I just have bad handwriting.
So I won't mention my family may listen, watch this, and I don't want them to hear I'm saying that. I watch some of them and their handwriting is brutal.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
My aunt who had multiple sclerosis, she used to always call me to go over the house to write letters for her. And she said, your handwriting is so nice. So,
Do you have nice handwriting?
oh yeah.
You go to school with, like, the nuns and shit?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Palmer method. Oh, you know how many times we had to go to just write the R, just write the D. Yeah, oh yeah.
I think that type of teaching is very good, but at the same time, I feel like it is a little bit too much at times. I feel like that they kind of, like, had a power trip almost.
Do you understand how powerful the mind is? The
No,
mind is
that's
so
how powerful
it's
it
so
is.
powerful, and you're not using any of it, hardly, and you're using less and less of it. It's terrible. Go spend time with my brother, who's 90, he'll be 94 next month. Go spend time with him and listen to him. He will wake you up at levels you can't even imagine. And if you can find someone even older, spend some time with them. George Gonis, you went to him. The Greek classics. Okay, George is incredible when it comes to martial arts and the Greek classics.
Mm-hmm.
Genius. I can't compete with those people. I'm diminished. I can even see the difference between me at 72 and some of my friends that are 75. They are much more sharp than I am. Those 3 years meant the difference because television they weren't exposed to it earlier.
You think are you saying this when it comes to, like, your memory, or how?
I think a lot of character, I think a lot of things, organization skills.
A lot of those things could be attributed possibly to your past trauma. Past trauma does actually affect cognitive function.
I'm sure. I'm sure it does, but TV doesn't help. And the television now is brutal. Even I can't even find a movie to watch anymore. I got 1,000 Netflix movies and 1,000 Prime, and I have to really sift through them to get anything which I'll actually enjoy watching.
If we find out that screens are bad for us, then that's not good.
What?
Because it seems like
What's bad for us?
screens, like in general, if we find out that it actually has like actual, like if there's scientific evidence for effects on the brain or physically or mentally, whatever, it's gonna be very, very bad.
Can you
for the
imagine?
whole world.
Can you imagine what it must have been like living in a tribe with nothing but what you could get off the land?
Absolutely
And you live there with your grandfather, your grandmother, your mother, your sister, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, and every day after you got to a certain level, when you hit this age, you think you have no right to be with a woman until you go through some kind of a ritual.
What do you mean? What type of ritual?
A ritual to take you out of being a boy into being a man. We don't do that in this country anymore.
I feel like it happens for people at different times.
No, but you have a girlfriend already. You don't have a right to have because you're not ready to keep her.
Well, I mean, I can't.
Right, you're not supposed
She's
to have
from
her.
California.
Right, well, you're not supposed to have her.
I met her too early, and I know that.
Listen,
Look,
if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. But the bottom line, you shouldn't even have one. You should be focusing on athletics, school, period, and starting to develop yourself so you can be a can-do man and be heightened and strong and powerful for your life. Then you bring a woman into your life. And you don't have to bring the woman. You know why? They're seeing you every day. You know why? They're watching you. They're watching. Let me tell you right now. You ever think the woman picks the man don't pick the woman?
yeah, no. I know
She
that.
must see something in you that she feels could work. Or maybe she realized, you know what? You don't have it. He's not ready yet. I got to get away from him. I got to go do my life. And I'll check back with him once in a while, and if I see he's woken up, maybe I'll consider it.
I feel like women want to fix men. I feel like that they purposefully go for broken people.
Only if a foolish woman does that.
I feel like there's a lot of foolish women.
Right, they want to because they want to control you. But that's not the man you want to be. You don't want to be a controlled man. You don't want to be told what to do. You want to be a solid man that knows himself really well and says, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. You want to get on the train? Get in the train. But I'm driving it.
Yeah.
I got vision and goals for my life.
No, she's helped me a lot, though, Renny.
I'm sure she has.
She's more than just a girlfriend. She's a good friend.
She's a nice lady. I met her.
Good person.
She got a good heart. I'm not saying she's a bad person. It's just nature. You know, if you listen to Jordan Peterson, he'll tell you, if you're in a marriage, expect to have 20 or 30,000 arguments in a lifetime. If you don't have those arguments, there's something wrong with the relationship. That means every time something's bothering someone, they don't talk about it. Oh, that's great. What kind of relationship is that going to be?
Right.
You gotta straighten things out. I know I messed up my life only because I didn't come from a functional family.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Strong.
will I just know?
Huh?
Will I just know, or will she just know when I've crossed that line into manhood, become like a proper man?
You'll know you'll know when you hit it. But you know what? You gotta open to it, John. If you don't open to it, you're never gonna get there. You gotta trust. First of all, trust the men who care about it. First of all, you gotta look at there's no benefit of me having you in my life unless I bring you to become the man you were born to be. I don't want to be around people who are followers.
Yeah.
I want to be around solid men that don't need me.
your CEO. Go all electric faster. I dare you.
What are you waiting for?
Climate change affects all of us. This is your chance to do something good.